The moment you pay off your car loan, you expect freedom, relief, extra money, a sense that life just got easier. But for a lot of people, the exact opposite happens. The payment disappears, and somehow the money disappears with it. No wealth, no progress, just a quiet new leak. That is the part nobody warns you about. Paying off your car can be a financial turning point, or the start of a more expensive trap. Because the day your loan ends, your car stops being a payment and starts becoming a test. At first, it feels amazing. For months, maybe years, that car payment kept showing up like a tax on your life. Every month, the same amount gone before you could even breathe. Then one day, it is over. No lender, no due date, no countdown. For the first time in a long time, that money is yours again. And that is where the story splits. Not by income, not by intelligence, not by luck, by behavior. One person sees that freed up money and starts building a better future. Another person sees the same number and upgrades their problems. This is why paying off a car loan does not automatically make you wealthier. It only gives you one thing, a chance to make a better decision than you made before. Because the car payment was never the whole issue. The payment was visible. The habit underneath it was not. A lot of people finance cars they cannot comfortably afford. Not because they are stupid, but because monthly payments make expensive things feel small. A $40,000 decision does not feel like $40,000 when it shows up as $600 a month. It feels manageable, normal, almost harmless. That is how people slide into years of stress without realizing it. They do not buy a car, they buy a monthly identity. And when that payment ends, many of them do not know what to do with the empty space, so they refill it, fast. They tell themselves they deserve something newer, something nicer, something that reflects how hard they have worked. But the truth is harsher than that. Many people do not miss the car. They miss the payment cycle. They miss being in motion. They miss feeling like they are upgrading. Debt can become emotional momentum. It makes people feel productive, even when they are just staying in place. So when the loan ends, the silence feels strange. There is no next target, no next bill, no forced structure. And instead of using that space to get stronger, people often rush to create another obligation, another payment, another reason to stay financially fragile. This is why dealerships love people who just paid off a car. Those people are trained buyers. They are used to making room for a monthly bill. The old payment disappears, and a salesman steps in to help replace it with a bigger one. Better features, new smell, lower maintenance, longer loan. It sounds clean, smart, responsible, but underneath it, many people are simply restarting the same cycle with newer packaging. That is the hidden danger. A paid-off car can save you, or it can make you easier to sell to. Because once the loan is gone, the next phase begins. And this phase is less glamorous. Your car is now fully yours, which sounds powerful, until repairs start showing up with no warranty, no excitement, and no emotional reward. New tires do not feel as satisfying as a new car. A transmission issue does not make you feel successful. Brake work does not look good on social media. So people begin comparing two pains. The pain of repairing the old car, or the pain of taking on a new payment. And because humans are bad at valuing long-term costs, many choose the more expensive option that feels cleaner in the short term. They think, I am tired of fixing this thing. I should just get something newer. What they often mean is, I am tired of uncertainty, and debt feels more familiar than inconvenience. But a repair bill, even an annoying one, is not the same as restarting years of payments. One is a problem. The other can become a lifestyle. This is where the smartest move usually looks the least exciting. You keep driving the paid-off car, you maintain it, you stop chasing status through steel, and then you keep making the payment, not to the bank, to yourself. That is where real change begins. Not when the loan ends, but when the habit stays. Imagine you had a $500 car payment, the loan ends. Instead of spending that $500 somewhere else, you automatically move it into savings, investments, or debt payoff. Now the old burden becomes your new engine. The money that once financed a depreciating asset starts financing your freedom. This is the move almost nobody talks about. The paid-off car is not the victory. The redirected payment is. That one decision can quietly change the next 5 years of your life. Because most people never feel rich from making more money. They feel rich when they stop bleeding. And a paid-off car, handled correctly, can stop one of the most common financial leaks in modern life. Think about what usually happens to extra money. It rarely feels extra for long. It gets absorbed. A few nicer dinners, a subscription, more shopping, more delivery. A lifestyle adjustment so small you barely notice it. And soon the money that used to go to your car has become invisible. Not invested, not saved, not building anything, just gone. That is how financial progress gets delayed for years. Not through one giant mistake, but through unclaimed margin. This is why the period right after paying off a car loan matters so much. It reveals whether you were trying to own your life or just survive your bills. If you keep the payment alive and redirect it, something powerful happens. Your finances begin to breathe. Your emergency fund grows faster. Your credit card balance drops harder. Your investment account starts moving in a way that feels real. And for the first time, you begin experiencing money differently, not as something that leaves you, but as something that stays. That feeling changes people. It makes them calmer, less desperate, less easy to manipulate. Because when you are used to monthly obligations, every financial decision feels urgent. But when you create margin, you gain something better than money. You gain patience. And patience is one of the most valuable financial assets a person can have. It keeps you from panic selling, panic buying, panic borrowing. The paid-off car helps create that, if you let it. But there is another truth people do not like hearing. The end of a car loan exposes how much of your spending was psychological. A lot of people think their biggest issue is not having enough money. Then the payment ends and nothing changes. The paycheck still feels tight. The savings still feel weak. The stress is still there. Why? Because the car payment was not the entire problem. It was only one visible piece of a deeper pattern. Maybe the real issue is lifestyle inflation. Maybe it is impulse spending. Maybe it is always needing to reward stress with consumption. Maybe the loan ending simply reveals that the system underneath your life was already unstable. That can feel disappointing, but it is actually useful because now the excuse is gone. You can finally see what is really happening. You can stop blaming one payment for a life designed around constant leakage. And that clarity is worth more than comfort. This is also the moment when many people begin to understand the real difference between looking stable and being stable. A person with a new luxury car and a payment may look successful. A person driving an older paid-off car may look behind. But appearances are often telling the exact opposite story. One person is using income to impress strangers. The other is using margin to buy time. One is trapped in visible success. The other is building invisible strength. And invisible strength wins later. That is one of the hardest things for people to accept about money. Good financial decisions often look boring in public and brilliant in private. A paid-off car is boring. There is no applause, no attention, no emotional thrill. But that boring season can become the foundation of a completely different life. Because once you remove one major payment, you are not just saving money, you are lowering your required life cost. And lowering your required life cost is one of the fastest ways to increase freedom. It means you need less to survive, less to stay calm, less to walk away from bad jobs, bad deals, and bad pressure. That is what real wealth starts to look like. Not more status, more space. The strange part is, people often chase expensive things because they want freedom, a nicer car, a better image, a more impressive life. But many of those things do the opposite. They increase fixed costs. They increase pressure. They narrow your choices. A paid-off car, handled wisely, starts reversing that. It reduces pressure, restores options, slows down the monthly drain. That does not mean you should never buy another car. It means the question changes. Not, can I afford the payment? But, is this move making my life stronger or just shinier? That question alone can save people years of financial weakness. Because the problem with car payments is not only the interest, it is the mindset they normalize. They teach people to evaluate life through monthly affordability instead of total cost. They train people to accept long-term weakness in exchange for short-term comfort. And if you are not careful, that mindset spreads from cars to furniture, phones, vacations, houses, entire lives financed one manageable payment at a time. So when you finally pay off your car, the real opportunity is bigger than transportation. It is mental. You get a chance to break a pattern. You get to prove that freed up money does not need to become new spending. It can become stability. It can become ownership. It can become peace. That is what really happens after you pay off your car loan. Not automatically. Not magically. Potentially. You enter one of the most revealing moments in your financial life. The bank steps back. Your habits step forward, and your habits will decide everything. They will decide whether this becomes the start of wealth, or the reset button on another cycle. They will decide whether your old payment turns into savings, or disappears into 100 small comforts. They will decide whether you keep chasing the image of success, or begin building the structure of it. Because the end of a car loan is not just the end of debt. It is the end of an excuse. Now you can see what you do when no one is forcing you. When there is no lender waiting, no bill requiring discipline, no outside system controlling your behavior. This is where self-respect enters the picture. Can you keep making the payment when nobody demands it? Can you stay with the boring car when nobody is clapping? Can you choose long-term peace over short-term display? That is where wealth starts getting personal. Not in the numbers, in the restraint. Not in the upgrade, in the pause. Not in what you buy next, but in what you finally stop needing to prove. A paid-off car can become one of the strongest financial tools you ever own. Not because it is glamorous, because it gives you leverage. Leverage to save, to breathe, to reset, to prepare. And in a world where so many people are drowning in recurring payments, that kind of leverage is rare. So if your car loan is almost over, do not just celebrate. Decide. Decide before the money gets absorbed. Decide before the ads reach you. Decide before the dealership tells you that you are ready for something better. Maybe you are ready for something better. But better may not be another car. Better may be the first month your money finally stays with you. Better may be the first time an emergency does not scare you. Better may be the first investment you make with money that used to disappear. Better may be the quiet confidence of knowing your life is getting cheaper, stronger, and harder to control. That is what really happens after you pay off your car loan. You do not just finish a payment. You find out who you are. When the payment is gone,